Hey guys, it's Brandon with BDU here at Spooner Island for another product video. We're coming at you today with the man, the myth, the legend, Brian with Survival on Purpose, and our good friend from BDU and survival guru, Matt DePino. Hey, how you liking the swamp so far, Brian?
Man, this is gorgeous. I love it, man. This is like cool. You got the Spanish moss and you got airboats and wow, I like this. Is just I'm almost speechless. It's so cool. So thanks for having me down. This is great.
Yeah.
So these are really cool, made in the USA, Esee Knives, and I didn't pick out the selection here. My new friend Matt picked these out, and I like if he probably picked out the exact ones I would have chosen. It's amazing. I turned and found out he also likes to balance knives, so we're gonna get along real good. So Matt, tell us what you picked out and why you picked these ones out.
So we've got the Esee Izula II. I like this knife because it's a good backup knife. It's small enough to EDC. It's great to throw on a pack for just a backup knife. We've got the Junglas. The Junglas is just, you know, it's a fantastic knife, isn't it? It's a great camp knife. It is a little heavy for backpacking and things like that, but that's why we've got the Esee 6. The Esee 6 is a great belt knife. It's just your all-purpose, just camp knife. Everything you want, you can do with any of these three knives.
See, I think this is a perfect EDC knife, but that's just me.
You know, yeah.
That's just me. So why don't we, I guess we could talk about this. I always talk about specs, right? Because we get that boring stuff out of the way before we do some knife stuff. And I kind of look at this like the Goldilocks of knives. You got, you know.
It really is, yeah.
This one's a little too little. This one is not really too big, but this one's just right.
Yeah, it is.
So, well, I guess we could start with the specs on the, this is
Izula
Izula II.
Yep.
And this is pretty cool, so.
So the overall length of this blade is 6.75 inches. The blade length is 2.63 inches, and it's a 0.156 blade thickness. It's made out of 1095 carbon steel with Esee's famous heat treat. They do a really, really good job with this, and they get about a 57 to a 55 hardness on the Rockwell scale. Overall, without sheath, the weight is 3.2 ounces. It's the textured powder coated finish. It's got the flat grind that all of the Esee knives have. All their handles are canvas micarta, and they do a really good job with them.
Okay, so that was the smallest one. We'll go ahead and go to the biggest one, even though this is my favorite one.
Sounds good.
This is the Esee Junglas. It looks like Junglas, but it's really Junglas. And oh man, I really like this one. So tell us about the specs of this one.
So the overall length on this one is 16.5 inches. The cutting edge is 9.75 inches, and because of that little choil there at the bottom, the overall blade length is 10.38 inches. The cutting surface width is 2 inches, and it has, without the sheath, a weight of 23 ounces. The maximum thickness on the spine of the knife is a 0.188 inch thickness. It's also made out of the 1095 carbon steel, again with Esee's famous heat treat.
Finally, the as Goldilocks will say, the just right size. This is the Esee Knives Esee 6, and this has the new 3D handle.
It does.
And
it's beautiful.
What does that mean, 3D handle? I know it looks kind of 3D, this micarta,
yeah,
but it's more than that, right?
So they cut in specific grooves to fit the handle shape. You know, if you look on the Junglas here, you'll see that it's just a rounded, squared off handle. And while that's fine and comfortable, they wanted to go one step further and really give those contours and really fit the user's hand a lot better.
So you got kind of a flare here.
Yeah, yeah.
So what about the specs of this one?
So the overall length of this blade is 11.75 with a cutting surface of 5.75 inches. The maximum thickness on this, like the Junglas, is 1.18 inches. It is a 1095 carbon steel, the same famous heat treat from Esee. It's using the new 3D micarta handle. The overall weight without the sheath is 13 ounces.
Okay, well that's some of the, as I say, the specs and details of the these Esee knives. Why don't we get to doing some of that that knife stuff. What do you think?
Sounds good. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
I'll just hold on to this one.
All right.
I'll take the big one. So Brian, I know I'm not going to be making a ham sandwich in my kitchen with a knife this size, but in a survival scenario, what does this bring to the table, or what's the purpose?
Well, you know, there's a lot of advantages to having a big knife in my mind. The Izula you got there's a great knife. I've got one at home, but anything you can do with that, you can do with this. But the same can't be said. You know, anything you can do with this, there's things you can do with a big knife you can't do with a small knife, and it may be not quite as good for like fine details, but you can do them with it. Like for example, if you need to get through some firewood or cut something bigger, it's a lot easier if you can just do this. Stuff like that, you know.
So Matt, this is the middle of the road guy. This is something I think that would fit my hand a little bit better and seems like a little bit more of a wieldy knife.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's the purpose in a survival situation with
You know,
this?
while the Junglas is amazing at chopping and you can get through a lot of wood fast with a Junglas, this is going to be a considerably lighter knife. I think that's 23 ounces. This is 13. So you got, 10 ounces less. You can carry it around and it still does a pretty good job at chopping. We'll show that right now. So it's going to take a little more work to get through it, but you can still do most things with this knife that you could do with the Junglas.
So Brian, I'm sure this is the bit, like a real good chopper or something like that. There you go.
That's a really great knife, but you saw these two chop pretty well. I think it's only fair that to be equal to all these knives, you give yours the same test.
Absolutely.
So you just go for it, man. Hey, it's gonna be dark any minute now.
Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna have time for this, guys.
Okay. So chopping test. I think, in my opinion, this one wins, obviously.
Absolutely.
But
Clearly.
but that one does a good job, and
It does it.
the Izula, it's got other tasks that it's really good for. Everything doesn't have to be a chopper, right?
No, absolutely.
Okay, one of the tests I like to do with every knife, fixed blade anyway, is just to baton some wood. And some people think it's controversial, but it's a way where you can get to the inside of the wood in case it's been raining or it's wet on the outside. Sometimes the inner wood will still be dry and you'll still have something to make a fire. And I think it's a good test of knife strength as well. And most modern knives, a full tang knife like this is perfectly fine to baton wood with. It's designed to handle stuff like that. We got a bent piece of wood here, and this is some, by golly, solid wood, so it should be a good test of it. And so let's just see how well she does. Oh, yeah, look at that. No problems at all, as I expected it to be. We'll do one more of this one, and then we'll let Matt take a hold of the Esee 6 3D. So yeah, just as I suspected, no problems whatsoever. Take it away, Matt.
So we've got another gnarly piece of wood here. It is thick stuff. It's not going anywhere, but let's see what we can do with this Esee. There we go. And that is not easy wood to get through. We've been smacking on this knife. There we go. All right, let's see if we can do the same thing with the Izula.
All right, guys. I guess the hazing continues. I guess maybe some point in time you're going to need smaller sticks for a smaller fire. So let's see what the Izula's got ready for us. So not that bad. Trying not to cut myself today, so can take off a little bit of smaller wood.
Okay, so I mean, even the Izula, I thought it did a pretty good job of batoning, and you know, doing some chopping kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, almost chopping. But one thing that, even though we're not here at my, you know, at my worldwide headquarters, Survival on Purpose, I maintain a state-of-the-art cutting-edge knife testing facility. But we're not there. But I always like to balance test these knives, and I think that it would be literally criminal not to balance test these, don't you think?
I absolutely agree.
So why don't we do that?
There we go.
Okay, so one of the things I like to do whenever I'm testing a knife is just to see how well it carves. I think one of the kind of general, I try to do standard tests so we can compare stuff, and I think being able to make a fire is real important.
Absolutely.
Thing in a survival situation or just for good, clean fun. So I like to kind of carve feathers or curls or something. Just, you know, to make a fire, you got to have some really small stuff, some tinder and kindling. So I just try to carve out. You know, this just seems like a pretty good test. And this is not the best, doesn't look like the best carving wood because it's kind of stringy, but you know what, you use what you got, right? As one of my favorite movies, one of the lines is we will endeavor to persevere, and that's what we're going to do here. So, and this Junglas, even though it's a great big blade, it's got a good edge, man. Yeah. It's just fun to use. There's something about a big old honking knife. It's
too much fun.
Yeah, so that's pretty good, but I bet you this one does better. What do you think?
I don't know. Let's see.
You want to try it?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's doing a little bit better.
Esee just does a real good job with their edges.
They really do.
They make a good product, you know?
Yep. Everything about it, the heat treat down to the edge, the powder coating. You know, it is 1095 steel, so it's a carbon steel. It can rust, but with these powder coats, it's very, very resistant to it.
Yeah, I saw Jeff Randall on an interview one time, and I really respected what he said. He said, you know, he's not going to say that Esee makes the best knives. They want to make a really good knife and give somebody a good option. There's a lot of good knives on the market, but Esee has a really good reputation, and they also make just a high quality product. And they're really famous for their no questions asked lifetime warranty too.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You know, even if you abuse it and break it, they're probably going to give you a new one anyway, because that's just that's the way they roll.
And you know, if you're a gun guy like us, it's the same warranty that Vertex does for everyone. It's just a great warranty and a great product. I think let's have you use the Izula and carve up a little bit of wood.
Yeah, I think this is the first time that I got
You'll
to
have
use
a real big advantage here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you probably got the advantage on this one.
Yeah, I think it definitely did really good with the feathers. Nice thin shavings.
Yep.
Yeah. Great job.
Cool, man.
You think we can make a fire out of them?
I think we could do it.
Absolutely.
Let's try it.
Should we try it with the SE6?
Yeah,
I think it did a little bit better.
I think so. Let's see.
Not too much better. It'll throw sparks, but you really should carry a dedicated spark tool.
Yeah, I've got one of those right here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I carry
a big lighter right
spark
there.
tool right there. It works every time. Almost every time.
Yeah, and
here we go.
Yeah,
it
absolutely.
Works. But seriously, they're really good knives, and if that matters to you, about 5 minutes with a file, and you can make a really sharp edge that'll strike a ferro rod or scrape or anything you need to do. But oh man.
But they wanted to protect the steel with that powder coat. The powder coat does make it harder to strike the ferrocerium rod, but you know it's got its purpose. And you know, with every ferro rod I bring with me, I take a little hacksaw and just chop it off, and use that as a striker. It works brilliantly.
So, we'll wrap this up. Final thoughts. I think these are all a great choice. Honestly, as much as, I gotta be honest, as much as I like this, okay, if I was gonna buy one of these 3 knives and only could buy one, it'd be this SE6. Just because it's kind of like the Goldilocks knife, right?
Yeah.
It's not too big, not too small,
Yeah,
it's just right. I really like this new 3D handle. It feels really good in your hand.
Yeah, me too.
And it's a really, really good size for general all-around use. It'll do the small stuff and the big stuff if you need it to.
Yeah. And if you can only buy one, yeah, I'd probably go with the SE6. But if you can buy all 3, each one has their purpose.
Yeah,
And
why not?
Big camp knife, you leave it in your truck when you go camping. You get some firewood processed. You know, the SE6. Toss that on your belt. Keep it everywhere you go. And then, you know, when you're walking around town, you just need a fixed blade knife for everyday carry. Go with the Izula II. You know, I love all these knives, and I would carry each and every one of them. And I'm really proud that we're selling them all on Big Daddy Unlimited site.
And look, I don't work for Big Daddy Unlimited, so they haven't said this, but I'll say this: like, the prices they have on these Esee knives is unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, really, really. Like, this one is like, you're like $100 less than list price on this. It is crazy.
Yep,
so,
our prices are unbeatable.
Yeah, it's amazing. So anyway, thanks for letting me play with these knives. Thanks for finally letting me play with the Junglas,
really,
man.
thank
It was
you
great.
for coming
it was
out.
fun.
Absolutely, thank you, man.
Thank y'all. I really appreciate it.
So guys, from Spooner Island, that's it for today. Check out our Esee Knives only at BigDaddyUnlimited.com.
So we're here at Big Daddy Unlimited down here, and we couldn't really get a fire started because the ferro rod wasn't working too good, but we can definitely do a little firing. So this is pretty cool. Check this out. America.